Have you ever locked eyes with an animal and felt like it was actually reading you? You're standing still. The animal is standing still. And for a few seconds, nothing moves except its eyes. Fixed completely on you, it doesn't look away. It doesn't blink, it just stares. And something about that moment feels oddly intense, like there's a conversation happening that you're not fully part of. This happens with dogs, cats, horses, birds, and even wild animals. The moment they spot a human, many of them simply stop and stare, and most people assume it's curiosity, maybe even affection. But here's where it gets interesting. In the animal world, staring is never just staring. It can be a threat. It can be fear. It can be a cold calculation of survival. What looks like a simple glance is actually a complex behavior, with layers most people never think about. So what is an animal really doing when it locks eyes with you? If that question hit close to home, if you've ever had an animal stare you down and had no idea what it wanted, hit that like button. Drop a comment telling me which animal it was and make sure you're subscribed. There's a lot more coming and you won't want to miss it. Let's start with something that completely changes the way you see animal behavior. In the wild, direct eye contact is almost never a neutral act. It's not like two strangers passing each other on the street and happening to make eye contact. For most animals, locking eyes with another creature carries serious weight, and ignoring that weight can be a deadly mistake. Think about it from a survival perspective. When a predator stares at its prey, that gaze isn't accidental, it's a signal. It means attention has been given, a decision is being made, and something is about to happen. And prey animals know this instinctively. The moment they feel eyes on them, their entire body shifts into high alert. That stare triggers a response before a single muscle moves. But it goes beyond predator and prey. Even between animals of the same species, staring is loaded with meaning. In wolf packs, gorilla groups, and dozens of other social animals, a direct, sustained gaze is a challenge. It's a way of saying, I'm dominant, and I want you to know it. Looking away is submission. Holding the stare is a confrontation. It's a silent conversation with very clear rules, and breaking those rules has consequences. So when an animal locks eyes with you, a human, it's running through that same deeply wired system. It's not just looking, it's processing. It's sending and receiving signals that go back millions of years of evolution. And that's exactly what makes this so fascinating. Because humans aren't just any creature in that equation. There's something very specific about us that makes animals stop, stare, and study us in a way they don't do with most other species. And that starts with something most people never even think about, our eyes. Now here's something that most people never stop to think about. Humans are visually unusual creatures, and when an animal looks at us, it's not seeing just another body moving through its environment. It's seeing something that stands out in a very specific way, starting with our eyes. Almost every animal on the planet has dark-colored eyes with little to no visible white. That white part, called the sclera, is hidden, which makes it nearly impossible to tell exactly where the animal is looking. But humans are different. Our sclera is fully exposed and bright white, which means any animal watching us can track our gaze with remarkable precision. They can tell when we look left, when we look away, when we focus directly on them. Our eyes are basically an open signal broadcasting our attention in real time. And it doesn't stop at the eyes. The human face is one of the most information-dense surfaces in the entire animal kingdom. We carry emotion, intention, and focus all in one place. Eyebrows that rise and fall, muscles that shift with every feeling, a gaze that can soften or sharpen in a fraction of a second. For an animal trying to figure out whether you're a threat, a source of food, or something completely unfamiliar, your face is a data panel worth studying very carefully. So when an animal stares at you, part of what it's doing is reading that panel. It's scanning for signals. It's trying to decode what your face and eyes are communicating, because in the animal world, that kind of information can mean the difference between safety and danger. And some animals have gotten remarkably good at reading us. Better, actually, than most people realize. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because not every animal that stares at you is running purely on instinct. Some of them, especially the ones that have spent generations living alongside humans, have actually learned to read us, and that distinction matters more than you might think. Dogs are the most obvious example. After thousands of years of domestication, dogs have developed something almost no other animal has the ability to follow human gaze and interpret human facial expressions with striking accuracy. Studies have shown that dogs look to human faces for information the same way a young child does. When they're uncertain, they check your face. When something strange happens, they look at you first. That stare your dog gives you isn't random. It's a learned behavior built on a long history of paying close attention to what humans do and feel. But dogs aren't alone. Horses have shown a similar ability to distinguish between happy and angry human expressions and to adjust their behavior based on what they read. Even cats, often considered emotionally distant, have been observed responding differently to their owner's emotional state. These animals aren't just reacting to sounds or movement, they're reading faces. They're watching eyes. They've figured out that looking at a human long enough reveals something useful. And that's the key word, useful. These animals stare because experience has taught them that your face holds information. Your expression tells them whether food is coming, whether there's danger nearby, whether you're in a good mood or about to do something unexpected. The stare isn't passive, it's active intelligence. And when you understand that, the way you look back at animals will never quite be the same. If what we talked about in the last section surprised you, this part is going to hit even harder. Because while horses, cats, and other animals have learned to read human behavior over time, dogs exist in a completely different category. The difference isn't just about training or familiarity, it's written into their biology. Wolves and dogs share a common ancestor. And yet, if you show a wolf a human pointing at something, it won't understand the gesture. It won't follow the cue. But a dog, even a puppy that has never been trained, will look exactly where your finger is pointing. That ability didn't come from practice. It came from thousands of years of evolutionary pressure that slowly, generation by generation, shaped dogs into creatures specifically wired to pay attention to humans. The ones that could read us survived and reproduced. The ones that couldn't were left behind. What makes this even more remarkable is the physical evidence. Dogs have developed a specific set of facial muscles, muscles that wolves don't have, that allow them to make expressions that appeal directly to humans. That soft, wide-eyed look your dog gives you. It's not accidental. It evolved because it worked. It triggered care, bonding, and connection in humans, which helped dogs thrive. They didn't just adapt to live near us, they adapted to communicate with us. So when your dog stares at you, it's not just looking for food or waiting for a command. It's doing something far deeper, using a communication system that was built specifically for the two of you over millennia. The gaze is the result of an extraordinary partnership, and understanding what drives it changes everything about how you see the animal sitting right next to you. Now let's shift the tone a little, because not every animal that stares at you is trying to bond or communicate. Some of them are doing something far more calculated and far more unsettling. When a predator locks eyes with you and goes still, what's happening in that moment isn't curiosity, it's analysis. Predators in the wild are constantly running a risk-reward calculation. Every action costs energy, and every confrontation carries risk, even for the animal at the top of the food chain. So when a lion, a bear, or a large wildcat stops and stares at a human, it isn't acting on impulse, it's pausing, it's gathering information. It's asking a set of very specific questions. How big is this creature? Is it moving or frozen? Does it show signs of fear? Is it alone? Could it fight back? That unblinking stare is the predator's way of processing all of that before making a decision. What makes this especially important to understand is that your response during that pause actually influences the outcome. Wildlife experts consistently point to the same advice. Don't run, don't collapse, don't break eye contact too quickly. Because running triggers a chase response, collapsing signals weakness, and suddenly breaking that gaze can be read as submission. The predator is watching every microsignal your body sends, including the ones you don't even know you're sending. That frozen moment, predator and human eyes locked, is one of the most ancient and intense interactions that still happens in the modern world. It's a conversation without words where the stakes couldn't be higher. And understanding what the animal is actually reading in that moment changes everything about how you interpret what you're seeing in those incredible wildlife encounters captured on camera. So let's go back to where we started. An animal stops, turns. It locks its eyes directly on you, and it holds that gaze. You asked yourself what it was thinking. Now you actually know. And the answer is far more layered than most people ever imagine. In those few seconds of stillness, the animal is running a complete scan. It's reading your movement or your lack of it. It's processing the signals coming from your face, your posture, your eyes. It's pulling from everything it knows, whether that knowledge came from instinct, from learned experience, or from thousands of years of evolution specifically shaped around observing creatures like you. Every piece of information you're giving off, consciously or not, is being received and interpreted in real time. For a dog, that gaze might carry affection, curiosity, or a question it doesn't know how to ask out loud. For a wild animal, it might be risk assessment, territorial awareness, or simple fascination with something unfamiliar. For a predator, it could be the moment right before a decision that changes everything. The same action an animal staring at you carries completely. Different meaning depending on who's doing the looking and what your relationship with that species has been across time. That's what makes this so profound. The next time an animal fixes its eyes on you, you're not just being watched. You're being read. Your movement, your expression, your energy, your entire presence is being processed by a mind that evolved to survive, and in that moment, you are the most important thing in its world. That's not a small thing. That's one of the most honest forms of attention that exists anywhere in nature. If you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person this channel was made for. Someone who doesn't just watch animals, someone who wants to understand them, who looks at a dog's stare or a predator's stillness and asks why. That curiosity is rare, and it deserves a place to grow. This is that place. If this video changed the way you see the animals around you, drop the word reading in the comments right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it tells me this kind of content matters to you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button, because every week we go deeper into the behaviors most people see but never stop to question. Leave a like before you go. It genuinely helps more people find this content. And if you're ready to keep going, the next video is already on your screen. Trust me, you don't want to stop here.